It's a beautiful day on Mount Fuji and we're ready to start climbing. The first half mile or so is easy going and downhill. At the end of these paving stones, the trail turns right and starts climbing. It's easy going on a paved road, but this can be slippery when it gets wet. We'll pass several of these avalanche shelters on our way up and down the mountain. This is the safety rest area just below the 6th station. We'll pass all these huts on our way up. There's a rest area like this one in front of each of the mountain huts. This is the inside of a typical mountain hut. Don't forget to bring your money. So here I am on Mount Fuji. Typical summer day. I am about halfway between the 7th station and the first 8th station. We're looking towards the east, just after sunrise. That's the hotel down at the Kawaguchiko 5th station where we began the hike. These two guys coming up the mountain are moving at a pretty good pace. You can see what the terrain looks like a little bit here. Just a little loose dirt with some rocks. Not too bad. Looking up the hill, we can see in the distance, up on the skyline, the Fujisan Hotel. And right above us here in these rocks, this is the first of 4 different 8th stations. Above us, the trail gets a little rocky again. Off to the right is a sand slide. This starts near the summit and runs all the way down the mountain back to about where the safety rest area was as we were coming up. So these two guys have finally passed me. Been wasting too much time taking video. You can see they're climbing over rocks here, nice and slow and steady, taking their time. This is a typical Japanese tour group climbing the mountain. They've got a trail guide leading them in the front, setting the pace. They move slowly. When they take a break, which they do often, we get a chance to get around them. This guy's standing on the descending trail. The descending trail's connected to each of the mountain huts. That's their way of resupplying. They drive the bulldozer up the back way to the hut. If you reach one of these huts and you feel like turning around, take this little crossover road so you go down the descending trail and don't cause a traffic jam. For the most part, the ascending trail follows a rocky ridge line. Climbing over these rocks, just plant your feet carefully, avoid slipping. Take your time. This tracked vehicle is one of the ways the mountain huts resupply. But sometimes they get to be ambulances. This hiker is unable to walk any further, either up or down. So they've paid a good bit of money to the driver there, and he's going to drive him down the bulldozer road. I've been climbing with these two guys for a while. We're taking our time. The mountain's rocky here. The secret is not to slip. Off to the left, above us, is the first of several 8th stations, and above that, in the distance, is the Fujisan Hotel. One of the things I find fascinating about Mount Fuji is the way the terrain's always changing. Down at the bottom of this ridgeline, there's the hotel at the Kawaguchiko 5th station. The trail here is just loose dirt and rock. It's not a lot of fun to climb. You slip back a lot for each step you take. This is probably the hardest bit of the trail to climb. Most of the trail between here and the summit is just this loose rock and dirt. If you've ever wondered what Japan does with all its recycled plastic, well, here it is. They make it into retaining walls on Mount Fuji. Climbing this stairway is a nice break from the dirt we've been following so far. We're catching up to the tail end of a Japanese tour group ahead of us, and this is the first hut of the Fujisan Hotel. Tour group goes around that building and comes around the front of the next building and is going to go around the front of the next building. We've made it to the Fujisan Hotel. There's the flag that we've been approaching for the last 4.5–5 hours. Looking up the mountain from the Fujisan Hotel, we see a portion of the descending trail. Looking down from the Fujisan Hotel, we see the descending trail where it meets the Edoya hut. The trail branches here. If you follow the red arrow and take the right turn, the trail goes down past this silver-roofed hut, and that'll leave you about 40 miles by road from the Kawaguchiko 5th station. On the other hand, if you pay attention to the sign and follow the yellow arrow to the left, you'll end up in the right place. The clouds have finally caught up with us. We've been hiking in the sunshine most of the day so far, and we'll probably hike through these clouds for a while. But we know that the weather changes often and rapidly on Mount Fuji, so it's an even chance that when we get to the summit, we'll get some sunshine and have a decent view. We've got a Japanese tour group coming up behind us. The guy in the yellow jacket is the tour guide. You can see they don't move fast. Beyond the Fujisan Hotel, the guide sets a very slow pace. If you've ever wondered where decorative lawn lava comes from, this is the place. A couple of people in our group are starting to run out of steam here. We're only about 5 minutes from the summit at this point. We've got these rocks to cross, and then the trail gets a little bit easier for the last few hundred feet. It's like a little village up here on the summit. Lots of souvenir stands. These two guys are making very good use of their time. On the far side of the crater is an old abandoned weather station. This is what they used to clear the snow at the beginning of the season. Hey, how'd that guy get in my movie? Well, we've had a nice rest, and it's time to start going down the mountain. Do you think Batman's been here? From a distance, the trail here looks easy, but it's really steep and loose, and you can slip and fall easily. Follow the yellow arrow to the left when you get to this signboard. If you forget which way to turn, one of our helpful trail guides will be there to direct you. There are a number of different techniques for hiking down this trail. Your legs get tired of going straight, so some people choose to zigzag their way down. We're about halfway down the descending trail. You can see it's very dusty. Everybody's going to get dirty on the way down.